Yeah, but what I'm gonna do though is install some upgrades or add-ons. Like I got this alloy wheels. That's strongest servo here, and I even have some skid plate. All right, so we're gonna install this servo on this HB Toys R1000. I already took out the stock servo here, and you know, this thing actually has a metal servo horn, so we could reuse that if I want to. But you know, this servo came with this horn, so we'll use that instead. And the nice thing about these one is that there's multiple options where you can put in, you know, the steering. So I'm probably gonna use the shorter one, because the servo is, you know, is able to turn farther than the vehicle can steer. So that might help with that. And the radio doesn't have endpoint adjustment, so you can do that. Anyways, yeah. So I'm actually quite interested to see what's inside of this servo. So maybe we'll take it apart later on. Anyways, the first thing we should do is just plug this in, right? So we can center it. Turn on our radio. Turn on the truck. There you go. So we can see turning. And let's just zero the trim on our radio. Where's the... Alright, there it is. So we want to be as centered as possible so that, you know, we can just adjust the trim later on once everything's hooked up. So that's centered. And we wanted to position the servo horn like so. So we'll do that like this. That's good. Is that... I think that's the closest. Yeah, that's too far. Yeah, so that's the closest you can get to. And then we can just lock it now. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Alright, so we can then turn this off now, for now. So we're not fighting the servo, and then we can install it. There you go. So the servo is in there now. Now we just need to connect it to the steering, and I'm gonna be using the hole that's closer to the center, so that it gets less throw. All right, so it's on. Ooh, yeah, that feels faster. Okay, we're still overshooting the steering, but not as much as before. So we should be good there. Yeah, in terms of strength, yeah, it can definitely push itself. It's kind of a problem with the stock servo. So yeah, it's definitely an improvement. I mean, the TRX-4, I mean the Traxxas, was it 2075 or something, X? Yeah, I believe that's about 10 kg. Obviously we just put in a 30 kg, so this is at least 3 times stronger. And you know, I doubt this is stronger than the Traxxas version that's comes inside the TRX-4. But yeah. But we can still use this for other RCs. But anyways, yeah, I think that's definitely a big upgrade. That's gonna make a big difference. Yeah, so it's nice and quick. Let's see. Yeah, it's quite strong. Yeah. And I was trying to do that with the stock servo. It was having some difficulties. This is not a Traxxas TRX-4, right? But we did get this skid plate set for the TRX-4, and maybe it'll fit. Most likely it'll fit, but we'll see. So in this set we got a skid plate for the diffs, although this not, you can't really call this diffs because they're locked. The other one for the front one there before the diff, and we have this one for the transmission in the motor mount or motor, and in the center diff. I mean center skid plate. Another one for the rear diffs. And they're symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which one's which. And then another like skid plate for the front or rear. I can't remember which one. It just depends on the holes here. So yeah. Oh, this shorter one is for the front. The wider one is for the rear. So those are the ones I actually ordered, but for some reason they sent me these as well, the side skid plates. So the reason why I didn't get this is because these parts they didn't look the same, right? For one thing, there's no screws here, although we can always punch the holes, and they're supposed to be shorter, and then obviously the panel is different. But anyways, since we have this, we can try to see if we can actually install this. So this one side, this is another side. Alright, so if we lower the camera here, this is side. So the screw on the front there seems to be lining up. Is it too dark? Yeah, so that seems to be lining up there. So we can definitely use that. But as you can see here, the rear, this is definitely longer, you know. But it's not gonna catch the wheel or anything, so that should be fine. And it's not gonna, yeah, so it should be fine. It's longer. It just looks kind of weird, but it's not gonna degrade the performance or anything like that. So, and then obviously the cutouts here seems to align to be aligned with, you know, the grooves there. Or, yeah, and I guess all we need to do now then is drill some holes so that we can actually screw this down instead of just using just one screws, because obviously. So it looks like we can definitely use this. So it looks like we can use the whole thing. So, anyways, let's get started with the install. We're not done yet. We still have to do these ones here. So yeah, let's go try these ones. Alright, so I'm kind of lazy to look for my drill, so what I'm going to do is grab my soldering iron and just punch a hole through there. There's nothing under behind there, so it should be fine. Good. Yeah, man, that looks awesome. I like how shiny it is. Actually, this comes in black too. I think it's powder coated, which means a little bit thicker, but it's not really important. Especially if we were gonna reuse the same screws, then it actually helps to be thinner. Besides, this will get scratched out. I mean, that's the whole point of it, right? And so if it's black or powder coated, painted, then yeah, it's just gonna turn silver anyways. Besides that, you know, I want it to stand out a little bit. I don't want the, you know, the steel in black steel or powder coated steel to just blend in with the black plastic. So, you know, this just looks cooler. Anyways, I think we're good here. All right, so this upgrade is actually specific to the Beluga because this has a loose motor mount, right? But the upgrade itself is actually free. Well, I wouldn't even call it an upgrade. Like, don't buy one of these. This is a motor mount for the TRX-4. It's aluminum. It's nice. You know, you'll have better heat dissipation and everything, and it's going to be more solid. But it doesn't fit because the Beluga has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws as opposed to the 3 screws on the TRX-4. This 2 are not on the TRX-4, so this additional piece plastic kind of gets in the way when you're trying to install this. So unless you try to modify this permanently by cutting pieces off or plastic off, you're not going to be able to use this. But you don't even need that. I mean, okay, so what I did was I put some electrical tape at the bottom piece of the plate here, and then electrical tape all the way around there. So basically acting like a shim, but at the same time, you know, it's sticky, so you don't have to worry about moving around when you're trying to install it. And obviously electrical tape is very cheap, and you probably should have one already in hand. So, you know, once you do that, you can just put it back here. It's way more snug, right? So that side is there. And here too. Watch out for the servo wire on the other side. Not always. There. Right? And let me screw that in and check it out. So let's try to shake the motor. Right, it's not moving. Yeah. Unlike before. It's not moving. Before I could totally move it. I don't know if you can see it, but you should be able to hear it like just doing that. So yeah, and what was making the sound was the spur gear. I mean, the pinion gear was smacking onto the spur gear, right? So which means you don't have a good mesh, and what might happen is you're gonna strip your spur gear, right? Because the spur gear is plastic. So yeah, so one free upgrade for the Beluga. For the TRX-4, you don't have to do that because you don't really have that issue. It would have been nice to use this, because then we'll have a more solid mount, better heat dissipation. Although that's and way more options for gearing. All that said, a crawler doesn't really generate a lot of heat because, you know, you're not going fast. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thanks. So now we're gonna upgrade the wheels and tires. But first, let's talk about them. So these are aluminum beadlock wheels. Not only that, they look awesome, they're going to be easier to manage as well. You know, we don't have to use glue, and then when the tires are worn out, you know, we can just unscrew it and pop it in. Speaking of tires, these are new tires as well. They are slightly wider than the stock ones, and slightly taller, probably about a couple millimeters. but more importantly, they feel softer. They are more, they bend easily, and I'm guessing they'll grip better as well. They come with foams already inside, so we don't have to worry about that. Although, you know, maybe some two-stage foams would be better, but they're pretty expensive, so, you know, let's try this for now, until we feel like we need more performance. But yeah, since I have a scale here, I measured it, and so this is what we have here. The new wheels are 343 grams for the set, or 86 grams per piece, which is good, but the description stated around 95 grams, so it's you know, off noticeably, right? So, you know, prefer a little bit heavier, but you know, what are you gonna do, right? Anyways, for the tires, the new tires are 289 grams, so a little bit heavier than the wheels. That's about 97.3 grams per tire. So combined, that's 732 grams. And the old set is only, well, only, I don't know how, but yeah, 503 grams for the set. That's a difference of 229 grams. That's half a pound. So we're gaining half a pound just by replacing the tires, which is good. Obviously, we want, you know, you could get more weight, but you know, we're fine, right? And what do you call this? That's a difference of 57.3 grams per tire, per tire and wheels. So yeah, we're getting some improvements in terms of weight at the lowest possible area of the car. So that's good. So now let's go install the tires, or mount the tires onto the wheels. So this one, I've already unscrewed the screws on the back here, so we can, you know, take it apart like this. This one, on the front of it, or yeah, on this side of it, I've already screwed all the screws here, because it'll be easier this way, right? And then we'll just lock it with the screws on the back, and this is nice and flush and stuff. So the other thing we need to consider then is which way do we mount the tires, and in this case it doesn't look like it matters, you know, unlike the stock tires where, you know, it's directional. So in this case we don't have to worry about that. So yeah, let's start. The first thing is we put the ring inside the tire. Okay, it's in there now. We try to center it as much as we can. Alright, so now we put the rim, I guess, in there now, and then we put the other side of it. Okay, make sure nothing. Okay, yeah, nothing is. Make sure that we're in the center, and then we're aligned as possible to the holes. So that looks pretty good, right? So we can then put in the screws now. We're not gonna tighten it yet. We're just gonna put one in. Okay, just screw it until, you know, it just has a bite, and then go to the other side, and then we do the same, not tightening it yet. If you wish, you could also put some Loctite in here, because we are screwing into metal, so you know, it's not onto plastic, but yeah. So there it is, and that looks pretty cool. And we don't have to wait for the glue to dry because we didn't use any glue. Alright, so on to the next one. And I'll do that off camera. Alright, so here they are, and they look awesome. Yeah, and obviously we just need to mount them on the car. But before I do, I just want to say that like one of the upgrades I was also thinking of getting was brass for the portal axles. There are obviously multiple parts to this, like the outer, the inner, and then the C hub or whatever. But anyways, I was thinking like, oh, maybe just the outer because you can get really big ones and heavy ones, like 100 gram per corner. But as you can see here, let me zoom in a little bit. There are only 4 screws here. If you look at the upgrades, portal axle, like outer ones, and they have like I believe 6 or 8 screws, right? So that's not gonna fit. I mean, okay, maybe they may line up, right? But maybe it doesn't. All right, so there they are, and it looks awesome. It definitely looks way more scale now than before. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how big the tires are, but yeah, that's put that aside for now. But it does look pretty cool, and you know how I like how the wheels are shiny. Anyways, so let's just summarize. So we did the skid plate, right? So we did that. We did the servo upgrade as well, which is stronger and faster. Obviously the wheels we just did, and well, I wouldn't say there's an upgrade, but definitely a fix for sure. Putting electrical tape into around the motor mount, except for the last one, you would have had to do this or want to do this with a TRX-4. For the Beluga, obviously, you have to do that motor mount fix because then you won't have a good mesh, and you might shred your spur gear. But anyways, I'll put up on the screen here the price for each one, including the shipping and whatever. And yeah, it's not a lot of money, considering what we're getting. But not only that, we're adding that to the price of the Beluga here, which is much cheaper than TRX-4. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and which is good, which is really good, and we get to enjoy a nice rig. Yeah. Anyways, obviously I'm still thinking about getting brass for the portal axles, but if you have any recommendation or suggestion to the next upgrade I should do, just drop a comment below, and also let me know what you think about these upgrades. Are they worth it? Are they just superfluous? Whatever. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, and see you soon.